If the Obamacare subsidies are thrown out probably next week in the King v. Burwell case by the Supreme Court, the Republican Party should have a massive celebration. This is an incredibly good news. As you know, the Obamacare law says you can only get a subsidy if you got your health insurance through a state exchange. But 36 states didn't have state exchanges. They just had federal exchanges. And the court decision would mean those people could not get subsidies. Now, the Supreme Court decision would strip 7 or 8 million people of their health insurance subsidies, and therefore, in effect, of their health insurance. And these poor folks mostly had policies they liked and could afford until Obamacare said they didn't meet their high bar of coverage and they could not keep those policies and had to enter the exchanges to get policies. And then the exchanges were set at such high levels of premiums because so much that they didn't need covered was covered that they couldn't afford them and they needed subsidies, and now the court's going to take these subsidies away. These folks have a case. But even so, the Republicans should be overjoyed if we win this case, because obviously what's going to happen and what must happen is that Congress immediately enacts about a 3-month delay in the application of this decision, which they can do, and the court will probably explicitly say they can do. And during that time, we'll pass legislation, I think, devolving Obamacare upon the states and saying it's now up to each state whether to adopt the whole Obamacare program, none of it, or certain parts of it. And that in the course of doing that, the taxes that finance Obamacare will be repealed as nationwide taxes and will be available to each governor to collect in his own state to apply or not apply to the Obamacare rulings, the Obamacare system. It's the perfect solution for the Republican Party, because what's going to happen is that the blue states are going to stay with Obamacare, the red states are going to leave it, and it will add to a tremendous competitive advantage for jobs and industry for the for the red states against the blue states. And in fact, you're ultimately looking at a proof positive that Obamacare really doesn't work when you'll be able to compare the outcomes in the two different kinds of states. In any case, this vitiates Obama's entire legacy. When you combine that with the court overruling his immigration decision, there's nothing left. And particularly if the Iran negotiations fizzle or Congress kills that treaty. So we're really looking at a tremendous victory. And by the Republicans running scared and saying, oh, 7 or 8 million people are going to lose their insurance and they're going to blame us, is ridiculous. Nobody will lose their insurance because the states will enact systems that will take care of those people, most likely tax credits to make sure that they can pay for insurance. So this will be a great victory if we win it and a real defeat if we lose it. So let's stay tuned.